Hello everyone and welcome. My name's Simon and we are the Whales of Wall Street. I hope you're all doing fantastically well today. Before we go into the charts on these two projects, Kusama and Phantom as well, we will be looking at a bit of news updates from these two as well, just to see if there's any indication into why these have had such good rises in the last 24 hours or so. So we'll start with Kusama. So Kusama have essentially have had an announcement in the last few days of their application with Moon River Network. So this is absolutely fantastic for these guys. So kind of like a crowd loan aspect here. So Moon River are receiving over 200,000 KSM ahead of their launch. So it's kind of like a launch pad effect, a startup aspect, if you like, where over near enough 6,000 contributors around the world have essentially provided their Kusama to help with this launch. So these guys are very much around Ethereum compatibility, building that platform on the Ethereum network. So very much cool aspects there around development tools, improving their ecosystem and technology through coding, etc. So there's a bit of information there that perhaps has pushed the price up as well. And there are bits and pieces additionally to Kusama going up as well, but I think that's one of the key main ones and probably the drive as to why people are getting the assets and helping with this great launchpad project as well. And it's not just them, they have been working with some other ones recently as well. For example, you can read here the Shiden network as well, and the Karura. I don't to work on these words here for you guys, but yeah, all around parachains and building a massive infrastructure moving forward. So really exciting stuff going on there. Do keep an eye on their website and Twitter for all the latest updates on Kusama. And then finally we're going to Phantom. So absolutely fantastic project. I can't wait to do drop the video on these guys at the end of this week. So very much consensus protocol, absolutely phenomenal, especially around sort of like NFTs and smart contracts, etc. One thing that's informative here is they were also dealing with the World Economic Forum a few months back when they had the agenda program, and Phantom were actually presenting and being on the advisory board to the World Economic Forum personnel to advise on blockchain and cryptocurrency moving forward. So when we get into the charts, you'll see maybe the price is quite high compared to a few months ago in terms of opportunities, but I do generally believe in the long run, and certainly as we lead to CBDCs and things like that next year, this could be one of those hidden ones where perhaps we've been distracted by a lot of the other applications and protocols. These guys may have slipped the net in some aspects, so we need to keep an eye on them. Look at these partners that they already have. Chainlink, Ren, of course, massive, the Graph. So really interesting, and getting involved as well with government institutions. So just got to really keep an eye on these guys, because I think there's so much news and hype around so many different things in this space that we're in. These kind of ones go under the radar, and it's one of the ones I believe that's going to be absolutely fantastic moving forward. So let's just see how they go over a period of time. And again, keep an eye on their Twitter, always informative and very much up to date all the time. So here's some more incentivization programs about building, developing on protocol systems, ecosystems. So very active, and always being linked with some really good partnerships and things like that. So looking forward to dropping that. So keep an eye out for those videos. And that kind of like leads us really nicely into, to be honest, the application of the charts. So let's get those up for you guys as well right now before we get running out of time. So let me just pull up the charts here. Here we go. Okay, so we have got to start here with KSM. So KSM Kusama currently on a absolute mad run the last 24 hours. Rejected this 405 support line and actually accelerate up to can you believe it, $421. So we've had a bit of the retracement. It'd be so interesting to see where we close up on this, because it's absolutely smashed through two support lines here. The The last one being around here when we last hit the 350 mark, and it's absolutely annihilated it all the way up to here. And in fact, my fib retracement is quite far out here. The next phase up would have been around the 470 mark, so that would have been something to have witnessed for sure in today. But what I would also pick out here is the RSI is moving towards that high end, so do expect probably a retracement aspect at some point, not necessarily all the way back down, but certainly can be coming back into these support areas around here. And I'm just going to draw these in for reference for the next few videos. And don't be surprised if we don't test these areas again, because in reality, in history of this chart, we haven't had too many tests of these areas. They've been pretty much cutting straight through. So we do need, for the health of the project, to try and test around these areas again, but don't be surprised to see us potentially coming back to these kind of areas. And I will draw one down here as well, just in case. So I might be looking at some potential buy opportunities in these areas personally, not financial advice, but something to keep an eye out for sure. So it's really interesting to see where we will close. Will we close above this line here, in line with the previous high a few days ago on the 21st? That will remains to be seen. That would be quite a substantial drop in the wick there for that to happen. So really interesting. If we can stabilize up this level, I may even have to kind of readjust the fib retracement levels, to be honest, to see what's potentially an opportunity here. There's an argument to say that if we can stay above 380 and stabilize on a sideways pattern, we could push up even further, because there is room in the tank on the RSI, albeit that it's up towards the high end. But this is showing not really much drop, to be honest. It's showing the massive potential in the project. It's a steady growth, it's not parabolic. So that's extremely healthy. We've had a correction, we've had a second one for those that missed out in these areas, and now we're on the big run. And I think, as I said, that's because of a couple of reasons in some news updates that have come in within the last couple of hours, or certainly the last 24 hours. And the MACD here is very interesting as well, because we just literally had a swap over. So let's see how this goes. I'll do an update on the next few days on this one, to see how we pan out. Absolutely. So that is quite interesting to see how that kind of develops. And then let's have a look at Phantom as well. So FTM on the exchange, Binance, Qcoin have it available. So let's just pick out Qcoin for now. I haven't done any analysis properly on this one before, so let's just quickly draw this in just briefly, so we have a rough idea of what we are looking at here. So we can actually see again some development really much in the last week of good positive gains. Here we've had the correction, and that's kind of understandable, because if you look at this pattern here, it's very gradual. Arguably it could have carried on all the way up here, but we had a general market correction across the board around this area of profit taking, and that's understandable because we've gone from 14 cents all the way up to 60 cents. That is phenomenal profit, and congratulations to those that did buy back in down here. I did mention earlier in the video, it's something that I didn't take advantage of back then. I ignored it, even though I know a lot about it, and especially with the ties of the World Economic Forum, but I just have so much in my portfolio at the moment, it didn't make sense for me to just go, sort of, I'll go and get some just for the sake of it. I'd rather do it properly, whether that be in the next big bear market or taking advantage of even lower prices. So there is an opportunity here in the sense that we've got relatively high end RSI, still room in the tank to move. It's in a bullish momentum, so in my opinion this correction here is very good profit taking, because we went from 45 cents in this aspect to 90 cents. We've had a double in the last 3 or 4 days, let alone this big one here. In 4 days people have managed to double their money if they did come back in this area here. So congratulations again to those that took advantage of that, as well as people probably profit taking from down here as well. So it's absolutely fantastic. If we can break these support lines around these areas and close off above 70 cents, and we get this, because this bullish momentum's here, it doesn't look like it's switching anytime soon, and that gap is widening. If we get support, a steady level 1-2 days or so of straight line approach, we could be potentially, guys, seeing and an anticipation to move up even further. And the next patches up here are trying to break and get a consistent line over 86 cents before we start moving up well over the dollar into the 128 areas as well. So there's plenty of opportunity here, guys, for this particular token. If I move this out just to one of the previous all-time high, so I think we had 95 cents as an all-time high previously. I'll just pull that out over here as well, just so we can confirm where these areas are. So it's very much the world is your oyster for Phantom if we get over the dollar mark, and see these new price discovery areas. So once we get, I guess, some confirmation around these support lines, as I mentioned, I will do another video to see exactly where the next lines are, because this is a bit inaccurate really. But we could argue that we could push that dollar, try and get past that 95 previous all-time high for Phantom, and see where we go with it. So this is really interesting project, guys, I think. And I'm just going to throw it out there. So for me, this is not financial advice again, but in terms of like 80 cents that we've been seeing today, 88 cents, I still think this is really cheap compared to what it's going to be in the future. I'm not saying that in this bull run it's going to be $10-20 or something like this, because we've got to be realistic and obtain the $1 yet, let alone higher than that first, to get more of a bigger picture of that. But I think in the long run, when we're talking about 5 years, 10 years time, this thing is going to be massive. You've got to think about it. These guys have been at the World Economic Forum advising really high end people, and there's reasons for that. They didn't pick anyone else, so you've got to ask that question, why? And it could be just simply one of those ones that has so much inside influence or institutional influence that we don't know about yet or haven't seen yet, that could just come out of nowhere. I familiarize it kind of like with XTC and R3 quarter, where it's a bit still under the radar, but the potential is massive because of the partnerships they have and because of who they're in with and talking to and advising as well. So keep this in mind, guys. Hopefully found these updates relatively informative. I do think these two projects are absolutely gigantic. Kusama is absolutely phenomenal, power chain technology and ecosystem that it's building, and the fantastic partnerships and service that it delivers to the crypto ecosystem is absolutely phenomenal. And Phantom as well, the opportunities are endless for these two, in my opinion. So let us know in the comments below what you think of either of these projects, if you're investing in either of them. Really intrigued to know. But other than that, guys, hope you found this informative. Please do like and subscribe if you have not done so already, and we will keep updating you on new projects that we have mentioned, like today. And this is the first time we've mentioned these two, so sorry if it was a bit of a waffle session, but we do have opportunities for new gems, and anything else that you want us to cover, just let us know in the comments below, and we're more than happy to send out videos of those as and when. If you want a crypto asset update on a particular one that you're holding, just let us know. We like to be at your service. So we'll leave it there, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.